Today is a push through it type of day. Friends, hello. So I have a lot of boxes I need to flatten. I need to clean this table. There's glitter stuck on it everywhere. It honestly just looks like a bomb went off in my house. But today's the day we're going to tackle that. I hope you guys are ready to deep clean and transform your space, because that's what we're going to be doing in here, because this is kind of wild, and I'm going to give you guys some footage of the baby kitties. Slime on Mickey. When I wake up, I usually like scan my environment just because I'll explain in a minute. But I woke up, yesterday was a good day. Today did not feel like one of those good days. So I'm trying to just be productive and move, because everything in my body is screaming, go lay down, hide under your covers, hide from the world. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that is never usually what I need. Sometimes, maybe. But I have to evaluate what's been going on in my life. That's not now. That's just the way I work through things. The reality is we can't always wake up and go hide in our beds. We have families and jobs and chores and dogs and kids and everything that we have to do. So sometimes you just have to push through it. And today is a push through it type of day. The EmiLab C30 camera is a dual lens indoor camera. So this is 2 lenses in one, great for monitoring 2 directions at once. It also has 360-degree coverage. You can have 2 views, one that is fixated and the other one that you are able to actually move with your app. It has dual angle surveillance and 6 times the zoom. It also has motion triggered human tracking. An added bonus is you don't have to pay a monthly subscription to be able to receive the detailed tracking of your pet movements, household noise, or a crying baby. That's all included. It has app connectivity, so you're able to get real-time notifications directly to your phone and control the camera through your home app. It has flexible footage storage, so you can record 24/7. I also love the night vision recognition, because I have kids that go in the kitchen at night and sometimes leave things out, so now I'll be able to pinpoint who it is. The camera has versatile installation, so it works with Wi-Fi, old or new, and supports upside down installation. It has voice assistant, so you get your hand-free interaction with Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. This camera is amazing for families with babies and pets, children, or if you want to just have a comprehensive view of your home to be able to monitor day and night and have 24/7 recording. This camera is awesome if you want to have it in your entryway, the living room. You can even have this in the baby's room. This is wonderful. To be able to see so clearly at night and get notified is such an added bonus. Most cameras don't have great night vision, but this is awesome. Hi, Emma. Huh? What's really fun is when Emma is in the living room playing, I like to be able to chat with her or ask her, to grab something for me, but just keeping my eye on her. She is having more independence now, but I still want to keep my eye on her, and this has been awesome. I'll have all the information in my description box. Check it out. Any necessary links and also a discount code for y'all. So I love this, and I really think you guys will too. I'm going to add a razor blade. I really need to make you guys that remember I was going to make you the cleaning kit. I really need to do that. I want to do that. I just wasn't able to do that. But I think I will be able to very soon. So I want to tell you I didn't forget about that. Kids are expensive. Eggs are expensive. So, I have to prioritize those types of things. If I could just get this thing open though. How do I get this thing open? It is the summertime and we are pulling out everything to just entertain the kids. We don't have any big vacation plans. I mentioned in a previous video, Chris, he's an AC contractor and we own a business, and you cannot go on vacation during the summertime here in Florida. So we just find ways to entertain ourselves. Usually it's us just going out, getting lunch, running a few errands, going to Hobby Lobby. Noah went to Busch Gardens. We haven't done the aquarium this year, but we usually do it every single year. Same with the zoo. But it's so hot here, so you have to be really mindful of the things that you do outdoors because it can just get so incredibly hot. Sometimes when I'm cleaning this table, I feel like it doesn't quite get clean enough, and then I realize that it's underneath the glass. If I have a piece of furniture that I really want to protect for the long haul, I always have glass made for the top of it. I highly recommend it. It's not very expensive and it really does save your furniture, and it makes it so much easier to clean as well. I did use the e-cloth. I just don't think it gets my glass as clean as I would like it, streak free. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't get it really soaking wet, but it is wet, and I wring it out as much as I possibly can, but I just don't find that they work. I guess like I see them working for others. So I'm going to use the spray way until it runs out and then I'll figure it out. I did get some branch basics, so I am trying to implement that. I got to get some glass jars for it. And I have been using that on the countertops with like a misting bottle. That's been nice so far. So I'm going to put down all of these boxes and put them in the recycling bin. I got that cat tree in the back from Amazon, and I should have known better that it was just too good to be true. Cat trees can be extremely expensive, especially aesthetically pleasing ones. And so I got this one. It was like $30, and I thought, okay, this is an amazing deal. What is the catch? And I got it. I put it together, and I was just so excited about it. And then I put Eden on top of it, and she doesn't fit. She's too big. And then I put Drew's cat Airy on top of it. She doesn't fit. She's too big. So now I understand why it was only $30. Do you ever have conversations with your husband where they jokingly, of course, just make little remarks about things that you do that just they don't understand? Like the other day, Chris was at the coffee maker and he saw the K cups on top, the older ones. And he said, just some things I just don't understand. And I looked and I said, what? He said, the K cups, why don't you just throw them away when it's used and then, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't think about it. And he's like, and you leave the creamer out. And I'm like, I know, it's one of those things. And he just was laughing, like, you know, funny banter between married people. And I said, well, there are things that you do that, and we're like, again, we're laughing, you have to be able to laugh about these things. And he's like, what is it that I do? And I was like, your desk. Like, how can one organize it so thoroughly and clean it up so perfectly, and yet it's still absolutely a disaster? Like, why? Why does that happen? And he's like, yep, you got me there. I have no idea. But I do like to stay on top of it because he had mentioned to me that when he's able to sit down and work and the desk is cleaned off, that it is so helpful. So I try to stay on top of it. But again, I don't understand how it gets so messy so quick, but I think that's just life. I think that's something I also struggle with for the kids. And then at times, more times than I probably would like to admit, it happens with myself. Like if I look at my closet right now, I'm thinking, Lynn, how did you let that happen? But it just does. It's just life. And we get so distraction. I feel like distraction is our greatest distraction, and comfort are our greatest idols right now, because or enemies, if you will, because, and I'm using this lightly, but I feel like I could be a totally different person and do more things and follow through with things if there was less distractions. And I blame a lot of things on distractions. And then I also know comfort is one of our greatest idols, because all of us are seeking comfort. But the reality is we don't grow in our comfort zone. And so you have to be pushed and you have to be tested to the limit in order to grow and to have perseverance and to become the person you really want to be. And it stinks because it definitely hurts and it doesn't feel good during, but I know once we get on the other side, we can be thankful for those tests and those things in life that made us stronger and made us just really show our true character.
Of your broken dreams, I didn't ask you for anything, but you're acting like I did. I can feel it when you walk around.
Okay, so my previous wreath is just basically melting away in the hot sun. If I sell my wreaths, I will always secure them with some wire, but for myself, I usually will skip that step. So I think it's time to make a patriotic wreath. I found these. This is $1.99. Each pick was $1.99 at Hobby Lobby. I kind of figured there's no point in buying the whole stem if I'm going to cut it. And each stem is either $6.99, $10.99, or $11.99. Now, this week they're 40% off, but still that's a lot of money. But this is over there with like the wedding supplies and by the pots. These are $1.99 and they're not on sale. So if you ever just need picks of flowers, go over there and they will always be on sale the opposite week as the florals, just so you know. This is an 18-inch grapevine, and I'm going to use these picks for red, white, and blue. I have a vision in my mind, but I don't really know how it's going to play out, so we're just going to have to play with it a little bit, but definitely ready to have something on the front door a little more patriotic. I'm not going to do a long voiceover in this section, so if you want more talking, you can fast forward a little bit, but I love watching people do crafts and make things and just listening to the music. I find it really relaxing, so I wanted to implement that in today's video. So again, I'm just going to let the music play while you watch me make this wreath. back to organizing the desk, and also I did notice after the fact, once the wreath was on the door, that I missed a spot of greenery. And then every time I come home and I see it on the door, I think, yes, I got to go take care of that right now. And then I walk inside and I never think of it again until I come back into the house and I remember it. And that's what I'm talking about, distractions. It's like it just happens so quickly. There are distractions everywhere. So now that I'm here into his desk, this was a desk I got from Pottery Barn when we moved into the house. I wanted to really have something nice for him that could last forever if we needed it to. So I love it. I think it's beautiful. The drawers on this particular top area are not as deep as I would like, but that is only because I use these bins. Other than that, it's just great. It's held up really nicely. So I'm going to use my clear acrylic pens that I get from Amazon that I've had for ages and that I hold on to, and I'm going to put his pens in here. He loves pens. I love pens, but it's time to get rid of a ton of pens. So I'll organize all of this and just go through what is usable and what he could get rid of. So when he is working on a daily basis, it's just everything's got easy access. Also, I work for the company now as well. I so since when I met him, he was working for the company and it was his father's company, and he actually met me at work. I think I've told you guys this story. I was helping a friend at the front desk, and she needed to go to lunch, and she had asked if somebody could just sit in for her, and nobody would. And I was like, girl, I'll do it. And so I went up to the front, and Chris and his father walked in and asked to get back in the back, but he couldn't because you had to basically call somebody to let them in. And if you hear that sound, that was Drew's cat just running across my computer. Anyway, and so I couldn't because the gentleman was at lunch as well. So I had to wait, and they were waiting at the front desk. So just envision at a company, front desk, seating area, and I'm there with that one of those tall little counters. They're looking down at me, and I'm like, I can't let you in until such and such is here. And so I had to wait, and we waited quite a while. It was over 30 minutes. And in that time, Chris isn't saying a thing. He's hungry, and he's eating the Hershey Kisses on the countertop. Uh, while his dad is literally asking me every question in the book. And me, the type of person I am, if you ask me a question, I'll generally just answer it. And I also was like really shy. At first I wasn't, but then I started getting really shy because he was asking me more personal questions like, where are you from? Because obviously, like back in the day, especially, I've toned it down quite a bit, but I used to have a really thick accent because I'm from Tennessee. And so I try to monitor it a bit just because it did get frustrating when people would ask me constantly and then they would ask me to say certain words. And I'm like, this is just ridiculous. But anyway, and the reality is when I moved to Florida, I didn't even know I had an accent. I thought all of the Floridians had an accent. Anyway, and so he's asking me, where are you from? And, where do you live? And just how old are you? And just asking me all kinds of questions. And Chris is quiet. He's over there just eating those Hershey Kisses. And he could tell I was getting a little uncomfortable because I'm Irish, very fair skinned. I will blush if it's hot outside, or if I'm embarrassed, or if I'm happy, or if I'm mad. Like I always flush. And so I finally, after over 30 minutes, I was able to, let them in the back. And so then Chris comes back, they leave, and I'm like, oh, I take a deep breath. I'm like, oh, Lord. And then Chris comes back and he's like, hey, so here's my card, and I am actually in a band, and we are singing at this local church, and I'd love for you to come. And I was like, okay, thank you. In my head, I was like, ain't no way I'm doing that. Not me. So I get back to my desk once the girl comes, and I'm telling my coworkers, and they're like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, oh my goodness, he's around the water fountain. Let's go over there. They were like searching him out. And I'm like, no. No, I'm not trying to do all that. And I called my sister on the way home because I had talked to her every day on the way home from work. And she said, oh my gosh, you guys are going to have redhead babies. I said, girl, I just met him. I'm not even going to this concert he invited me to. And she's like, I think you should. And I'm like, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. And that was it. But then I couldn't get the thought of not seeing him again. So I'm like, you know what? This is so out of my character. I'm going to go. And I did. I took I took Isabella with me because we were literally going to a church to listen to them sing. And then the rest is history. But over the years, that was a really long explanation. Over the years, his dad has owned it, and Chris has always been the treasurer and just basically like worked for it since he was 17. But in 2013, his dad was starting to get sick, and it was always the plan for Chris to take it over, but it happened a little sooner than we expected. His dad was sick. He really couldn't work it anymore. Chris was doing everything. And so we eventually just bought it from them. And I have always just kind of been in the background of it. If he needed something, I would do it. But generally, there wasn't much. His mom was doing office work. Well, she doesn't do office work anymore. And now he hired this really wonderful woman to do it. But she is also wanting to kind of pull out of it a little bit. So they were like, do you want to do it? So now I do it as well. And I was telling Chris last night, do you realize I have 2 jobs? I have 2 jobs because YouTube is a full-time job. There's no joke. But now I do this job as well. Do payroll and all kinds of stuff with the company. So I tried to make this space also easily accessible for me too, because I don't function well in a lot of clutter. And I was trying to make it easy so when I had to do payroll, I had to do something, I could just come in here and do it real quick. That was a super long explanation, but it was a little history for you. I like to tell you guys things about my life because I just think these are really important moments that we can connect with one another. And then you guys tell me things about you guys as well. So if you guys have a really amazing story of how you met your spouse or a best friend or something like that really stands out to you, I would love for you to share it in the comments below. I love reading your stories. I love connecting with you all. So please share down there. And I'm just really interested if you guys have any really cool stories. I'll tell you, my whole life, and this isn't like a sad thing, but like my whole life, I just didn't feel like I ever fit in. I didn't feel like I was ever chosen. I was never somebody's number one. I always felt like I was someone's, I don't know. I just didn't feel like anyone would choose me first. And I'll say that Chris was the first person in my life I felt like who chose me first. And that is why I am just so thankful for him in my life. He's truly my best friend, and he's truly everything I would have ever wished for. And when we were getting married and I was starting to pack up some of my stuff in the closet to make room for his stuff, because we did not live together until after the wedding. It was really important, especially with having kids. I just wanted to set that in there. So after the wedding, he was starting to move in. I was packing my stuff up in the closet so he had room. And I found my old journal from when I was 16 and the things that I had written down, literally like, if I have a husband one day, this is what I want. And it was literally everything that he does or is. And there have been many moments in my life where I have felt slighted by people and or God at times. That's just true transparency. And he is a reminder that that I am worth being chosen first. And I don't feel like many things in my life have come super easy. I have struggled in a lot of ways. Um, I'm not someone who can just step on the scene and be like, bam, or I haven't felt like that, like, bam, just like instant success. I've got to work my butt off. I've got to, I got to work my butt off in school. I got to work my butt off even on social media. And just having his love and his support just means the world to me. He makes me feel like I can just do anything in my life. And it is a reminder that, no matter what I've gone through in my life, that, you know, he chooses me. And then I know the Lord chooses me. Sometimes it feels like he's not hearing me, but I know he does. Especially lately, I've been struggling with that. I'm talking about God. I just sometimes feel like he doesn't hear my prayers. And Chris has been such a beacon of hope, because he has such strong faith and he's really helped me as well. So I'm just really thankful for our relationship. And also adding to that, I know I do speak of my faith and what I don't do religion. I do a relationship with Christ and with God. And if that's not something that you're interested in, that is okay. I want you to know that you're still loved and you're still welcomed here. So please don't let me talking about my faith upset or deter you from being here and getting what you can get out of this video, because I have said it from the get-go and I'll continue to say it. All are welcomed here, all are loved here. Yeah, if there is someone who has questions about why I believe what I believe, I'm always open to answer and stuff like that. But I also wanted to throw out that I have been working my tail off on TikTok as well, just trying to grow my presence over there as well, 'cause I really want to change my family's situation, and I just want to provide in every way I possibly can for my family. YouTube has been such an incredible blessing. The past few years, it's gone down quite a bit. And so now that I'm working for the company, that's amazing, but I also want to just change things for our family. So if you are on TikTok, I'm going to have my handle right here. And if you're on Instagram, I'll have my handle here as well. I'd love for you guys to follow me over there. Your support from here or there it means the world to me. And I know that influencers get a bad rap. I don't consider myself an influencer. I consider myself a content creator. But I know they get a bad rap, but the gratitude I have for you all showing up for me when you do, there's just no words. And I like to say it in every video, and it might sound really redundant and it might sound kind of annoying, but I really do mean it. You guys are like my family, and I just appreciate you guys more than I'll ever be able to tell you. So I had started letting my eating kind of just get lazy with my eating with summertime and eating out with the kids a lot. And then I haven't really been exercising a lot lately. So I could tell that I was getting these scaly, itchy patches on my skin again. And I knew right then and there, I was like, I know what it is. I know what it is. And I get these shots for my lungs because I have really bad asthma. And so it helps with the eosinophils. And I asked my doctor, I was like, so should I go ahead and do allergy shots too? He said, no, this should help you with everything. Wrong, it doesn't. And so I noticed these little itchy spots on me, and I knew right then I've got to get my eating back under control. I got to start working out some more. So I've gone back to the non-gluten. I'm working on the dairy. I really want to get rid of the dairy. That's hard. because I love my mashed potatoes, guys. I love them so, so much. And speaking of mashed potatoes, I did make Salisbury steak yesterday and I filmed the whole thing for TikTok. But I love my mashed potatoes. I love my butter. But I have been trying to do a better job. You can even see on my right arm, the one closest to the screen, there's a little circle there. That is a little scaly spot. I put my tanning lotion on and it just popped up. I'm like, oh my gosh. So going back to the gluten free, going back to eating better, making better choices, and limiting the sugar. I have been trying to stay away from Starbucks because they're too pricey and such a bother anyway. Um, so I've been trying to make my stuff at home, but I've gotten back into the gym. I've worked out 3 times last week and I'm working out 3 times this week. And I can already tell I take these things called troches. It's these little waxy squares for testosterone because I have really low and it helps my muscles build fast. So I was looking in the mirror today and I'm like, okay, a little, I'm going to keep at it. I'm starting to see some results. So this was filmed a couple weeks ago, but I'm starting to feel better, a lot better with just working out and eating better. It definitely helps not only with your body, but like inside and your mental health. And I highly encourage it. And I know it's hard for the summertime, but it's going to always be hard. You got to implement some healthy things. And I don't do a particular diet, but like I said, I'm going to try to stay away from gluten because it does cause me to have these little eczema spots. And no eating late. I was having Lucky Charms quite a lot in the evening, not doing that anymore. And just trying to be smart with my choices. So I want to encourage you guys if you're on that journey as well. And then when I work out, I don't do anything crazy. I like to walk for 30 to 45 minutes, depends on how I'm feeling that day. And then I will do like just like where you lay on it's they're machines basically. It just helps you with posture and everything. I like to do leg squats and some things like that on the machine. So I would encourage you guys, but a walk, let me tell you, I have to say it so many times and I got out of it. Now I reminded myself, well, I got to get back into it. A walk will change your life. A walk for 30 minutes every single day will literally change your life in so many ways. You just got to try it. I just love having things organized. Y'all know I love to clean. I love to declutter, but organizing, ooh, it is my jam. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. If you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, would you please consider doing that? And don't forget to like this video. It really does help to support my channel in so many ways. If you think this video would be helpful for somebody else, please share it and make sure to also save it because I'm here with over 600 videos to just hang out with you so we can get our lives and our home back in order. I love you all and I hope you have the best day. I will talk to you soon. See you soon. Hope to see you on TikTok and Instagram as well. And yeah, love y'all. Bye.